Hey, hey, hey. Not hearing anyone yet, but oh, yeah, everyone's muted. Or maybe. Hi, Rebecca. Hi, Morgan. Hi, Alyssa. Can't hear anyone, but if you want to unmute yourself, you're more than welcome to. And also, video is totally optional. So if anyone's like laying in bed and they really don't want to be on camera right now, I will not be offended. So I'm just going to wait a couple minutes till some people hop on. I hope you're all having a really good Tuesday so far. It's finally like so nice and bright outside later here in Toronto. I know some of you are not in Toronto, so hopefully you have the same sunshine still late into the evening. Oh, look, you unmuted yourself. Hi, Rebecca. So much more fun when I can talk to someone. Hi, Kylie.
Hey.
Welcome.
Thanks. It's staying sunny and Wheeling longer too. It's nice.
Where are you again? Where is that?
Wheeling, West Virginia. Here, I'll flip around the camera if you want to.
Is it funny that I want to sing West Virginia?
I would love to do that.
Except I'm not going to do that because I feel like that will be just painful in everybody's ears.
No, we'd love it.
Kelly. Again, video, totally optional. Oh my God, that is a stunning view you have.
Yeah. Thank you.
I'm moving there.
Toronto's I told you whenever you wanted to visit. No, that's on my boyfriend. He did a very good job of picking the house.
Beautiful.
He so lovingly lets me live with him.
I love it. Well, good on him. That's a great space.
He's pretty great.
Oh, he's pretty great. Well, if I ever get out that way, I will definitely come for a visit. We've got lots of people to visit now. Having an online business is fun because it really does expand your network a lot. So maybe I'll come like on a road trip and crash on everybody's couch at some point. Okay. Anyone else feel like telling me about their day before we get started? About their life, wins, challenges, how you've been?
Oh, I will.
Oh, I love it. Let's go.
I had a meeting I was terrified to have this morning on a new project.
Okay.
It went fine. Went well.
Good. You probably overhyped it, right?
Yep. And then this afternoon, there's a girl that I found like on Instagram she's a vlogger, but I have some videos that I wanted to learn like how to edit properly for a project that I'm doing. So I went and met up with her in Kitchener and she taught me how to edit videos and it was like an hour. And it was awesome.
Skill. Very cool. Did you use like fancy software and stuff?
Nope. So she asked me, she's like, do you have any software? I was like, no. She's like, what do you have on your computer? I was like, I have iMovie because I have a Mac. She's like, perfect. So she just taught me how to use it, anything I needed in there.
I love it.
It was really cool.
Yeah. And I mean, nowadays video is everything. Video and GIFs and moving images. Yeah. So that's a really valuable skill to have, I will say.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Awesome. Okay, so let's kind of get started here. So maybe some of you are wondering like, oh, why did you do a Zoom call and not a webinar? Like a webinar would be where everyone can kind of stay secret, right? You can just join and you don't have to have video or audio. But I wanted to give people the option. I feel like, hi Magda, it's really this mastermind or community jam that I'm putting together is so that we can all get to know each other. It's going to happen monthly. You don't have to show up monthly, but if you want to, that's great. But I mean, if you're like me, sometimes life gets lonely and you just want to connect with a group of like-minded people. And sometimes you don't know who to turn to. We all have family, we all have friends, but I think there's something really powerful about bringing together a group of amazing, amazing humans and just having a consistent, reoccurring meeting or jam session or mastermind. And so for this one, I'm kind of going to run through a topic, and that topic today is consistency. It's something that's just been on my mind a lot. But for future ones, I would love to bring on guest speakers and feature more of what you are all up to and create more discussion around this. So again, keeping this totally free. It's something that's been on my mind. I was going to launch it maybe as a paid program, but I thought, you know what? I just want to bring together a group of awesome people, and let's do it via Zoom so that if you want to be on video, you can. If you want to pipe up and be on audio, you can. Oh, Kelly says she loves this. And if you love it so much, turn on your video. No, just kidding. Yeah, so again, we're just going to jam out for about 45 minutes. I'll leave some time for discussion at the end. And I didn't like super prepare for this. Yeah, I built out a few slides and I was kind of just, I feel like my form of journaling lately, like someone came up to me the other day and he said, like, you should really start like a more consistent journaling practice. And he said, I can tell you've got a lot going on in your mind. And if you don't have meditation, you need to do that. Someone was giving me unsolicited advice, basically. And I was like, well, you're right. Like, I probably could because I'm always running a mile a minute. But I said, you know, what I do well is I open up Google Docs and I'm constantly creating like content and presentations. And that's kind of what I did here. So this is like my form of journaling, basically. And now you're all just going to read my diary. So anyways, the topic of consistency has been on my mind. So that's where we're going to go a little bit today. But if you have anything to add to this discussion, I value what you all have to bring to the table just as much as what I have to say. And I hope that one day this group evolves and grows, and maybe we can spin it off and do more in-person stuff if that's something that you're all looking forward to. And so, yeah, let's make this a community thing. It's not about me leading it so much as all of us coming together as a collective to just foster deeper connections and to, you know, utilize each other's skills and share what we want to accomplish in this lifetime, and just be surrounded with awesome people. So that's pretty much the vision. I'm going to pull up my Google Slides, and yeah, we'll get right started. Okay, cool. So I think almost everybody on here I've met before. But since I don't know a lot of you in person, I'll take 2 seconds and introduce myself. I did see one person actually pop on that I didn't know. So my name is Kelsey, as most of you would have guessed by now. And the whole concept of Visionary Life started about 5 years ago when I was on a trip to Peru. I've told many of you this story before, but I was kind of just hiking. My husband and I were on a trek, and we were with a group of about 3 or 4 people. And this is just the time when Justin Bieber's album had come out. And I'm just going to pull up the chat. I want to go to Peru. You should. It's definitely a worthwhile trip. And so this was like a very like soul-filling trip. And again, Justin Bieber's album comes out. I'm listening to it. The 2 other guys from the States are listening to it as well. And we end up chatting about the song that I really loved and they really hated. And one of the lines in his song was, "Be a visionary for a change." And I don't know what it was about that particular line in the song, but it stuck with me. I came home and I ended up making the word visionary my desktop background. And I had no idea why. I was still working full-time for a health food company in sales and marketing. And it kind of just marinated on that word, and then transfer like 6 months down the line, I started a network marketing business. And I know that's how many people get involved with launching their own business. And I'm no longer with them today, but it really did propel me into building a brand. And I was creating a team culture within that business. And it really inspired me to develop my leadership skills and to hone in on just different aspects of my strengths and my skills. And I launched what is now Visionary Life and the Visionary Method, first with this network marketing business. And then I realized it is so much more. This is something that was on my heart for a long time. When people would complain about their current life or their health situation, or the fact that they felt like they had no time to travel, I always thought in the back of my mind, it's not that you can't do this, or it's not that this isn't possible for you. It's just that we've created these walls or these barriers around ourselves that feel like we have to stay stuck or live in a very ordinary state. And I realized at that point I wasn't okay with that. And I realized the human potential is just so limitless. And I wanted more for my life, but I also wanted to help support people to want more for their life. And especially if they desired better health, better vitality, they wanted to surround themselves with amazing people. If they wanted to pursue a passion project or a business, I hated hearing the limiting beliefs. And that's really where the birth of Visionary Life came. And of course, it's evolved many, many times through the whole journey. And it is a longer story than that, but that's who I am today. I run the Visionary Method, which is a business coaching program, and a weekly podcast called Visionary Life, and a few more pillars of that business. But that's a brief rundown. I'm sure you'll get to know me much more as we host these weekly or monthly masterminds. So I'm going to assume that a lot of you came here today for maybe similar reasons. Maybe some of these resonate with you, some of them may not. I'm going to perhaps assume most of you have a growth mindset. So you're here because you are on this journey of looking to grow. Maybe it's in your health, maybe it's in your lifestyle, your relationships, your community, your business. There's something in you that really loves that feeling of growth, right? Perhaps you are seeking more out of this lifetime. Maybe you were born into a family that kind of didn't jive with you and you wanted more, or maybe you were in relationships previously where you felt a little constrained. But assuming that you are looking to build something that is potentially a little bit outside of the typical or the usual comfort zone. You've got goals, okay? And I'm ready to help you crush them. And hopefully this whole community is going to support you to attack your goals. Again, I'm always going to say in health or in life or in business, because those are really the three pillars that I coach on. And you're here because you want continual improvements in those three areas, as well as community, connection, and collaboration. So if any of that resonates with you, then welcome to the tribe. I'm so excited to have you here. And yeah, can't wait to get to know everybody better. So when I go into why I put this whole thing together, it really is community. For me, and this is a photo just of my cycling community here in Toronto, one of the very first communities where when I moved here to a city where I didn't know anybody when I landed here in Toronto 6 years ago, and my husband didn't come with me at the time because he was in school. And this was one of the first communities that made me feel rooted. And I just think it's so, so important to recognize like what communities we're a part of and how they really add value to what we're doing. And I'm sure you've heard that philosophy of community over competition, right? And whether you apply that to your business or to anything else that you do within a community, it's so very true, okay? So even if you're talking with someone who's doing the exact same business as you and pursuing the same path, there's still value in collaboration. So I want to foster an environment here where we are supportive of one another no matter what we are creating together. I got an interesting email in my inbox this morning, and it was from someone I talk about all the time, Seth Godin, who wrote This is Marketing. And it was about this very concept. And he kind of was saying, you know, if you write a book and you publish it, are you going to choose to sell that book in a bookstore where there's thousands of competition? Or are you going to choose to sell the book in, say, a coffee shop where it's still very well may be bought and you're not among competition, but maybe it's not exactly the right spot, right? And I kind of think of that philosophy, you know, there's always going to be benefit in immersing yourself amongst the competition because it creates more awareness around what it is that you're doing, right? So as a business coach, I love partnering with other coaches and mentors and people who have online programs because it drives awareness to what we are doing. And then anyone who views that or who participates in the event that we're hosting, they're just more likely to know whether I or another is right for them. So again, just wanted to kind of lay that foundation of community over competition. There are many other reasons why I really created this. I think for anyone here who is a business owner, there's like this element that always lands on my heart of this can be a really lonely journey, even if you work at a co-working space, even if you have friends who are entrepreneurs, even if you are part of masterminds like this. There are going to be days when you just think, can I do this alone? Do I have it in me? Am I skilled enough? What happens when I'm, not supported by maybe my partner or my family or my friends, or they don't even ask about my business? And I've encountered all of that before. And it takes a lot of grit to push through what can be those lonely feelings and just that isolation of nobody else is building this same business or wanting this same path. Maybe it's just unique health goals that you have. And so if you feel that sense of isolation, loneliness, just, am I in this alone? Who's going to guide me through this journey? Again, I hope this community can be that support system for you and to make you feel less alone. And the podcasts that I release weekly and many other people's podcasts, I know some of you on here have one, that is another gift of this lifetime that makes me feel so much less alone. And I know for some of you, it probably does too. So again, part of my why for hosting this on a monthly basis is to really reel us all back to we're not alone. We're in this together and we have people to support us. So just briefly before we dive into tonight's topic, just thought I'd share a little bit about what's going to happen. So first Tuesday of the month will be the reoccurring date at 7:30. If you have topic ideas, I would love for you to just submit them to hello@kelseyrydell.com or just DM me on Instagram. I'm more than happy to jam on a topic or let you come on as a presenter or a speaker or shine a spotlight on you in some sort of way. It is an open invite, so you can very much invite your friends or anyone who you think would find value in this conversation. And what I'm going to do, and it's for me too, that is I'm going to leave you with some homework, or some homework's going to pop up at some point in our time together today. So it's something that you can work on. I want us all to take action after the call today, because I know that no matter why you showed up today, whether it's because you have goals for your health or to immerse yourself amongst new people, or maybe you're looking to hit that next level of your business, I think that taking action is really what's going to help us to get there. And so I want to make sure there's an action item in each of our calls together. For next time, I would love for everyone to kind of come ready with some wins and challenges, but I will definitely email out about that before we do it. I won't put anyone on the spot. If you don't want to speak, you can happily just kind of retreat into the background, and that's absolutely okay. And then feel free to join our Facebook group. It's just the Visionary Method Holistic Business Coaching. We can keep the conversation going there, or find each other on Instagram. So maybe I'll put together a list of everybody's Instagram handle. All right, let me pull up the chat and just see if anyone was talking. Why did they make it so hard to find the chat? Oh, look, Jenna introduced herself. I'm all about these goals and values. I love it. Okay, well, if everyone wants to pop into the chat, leave your Instagram handle. Maybe just say who you are, where you live, because not everyone is where I am. And why don't you also write your favorite food? Because I'm always thinking about food. So yeah, just pop open the chat and go for it. If you're on your mobile phone and it's too hard to find the chat, don't stress, no worries. But yeah, put your name, your Instagram handle, favorite food. Let's see who's first. Type faster. Yes, go Ashley. Ash, I'm from Toronto, ashleystevens.ca. Yeah, I hope to meet you one day that you're here. Hey, Kelly. Kelly and I know each other for a few years. Malamir in Toronto, love food. Sushi, oh my God, pancakes. I was just looking at my Bob's Red Mill pancakes, the mix, and I really want to whip it up. not at the same time. Oh man, sushi pancakes. That would be like one of those like weird food trucks that would pop up at the X in Toronto. Okay, we got Kylie from West Virginia. Mashed potatoes. It's so funny, so random. Alyssa from Toronto. Pasta. Oh man, yeah, 100%. Rebecca from Reno, Nevada. Favorite food, vegan tacos. Ooh, I like that. There's a restaurant here called Fresh, and it has the best squash tacos ever. We got Jenna from Chicago. Hope to meet you one day. Pasta. And you're tricking yourself with cauliflower gnocchi. Nice. Morgan, we got Cambridge, mac and cheese. Okay, this is fun. I could do this all day. Which is why when you enroll in my email list, and sorry if you guys had to go through that again, I literally, you get an automated email that says, tell me your favorite food. And I respond to every single person who writes their favorite food. And I'm like, oh man, I need to try that. Okay. All right. You're probably all like, this is not why I showed up today, to learn each other's foods. But what an incredibly inspiring group. I love that, I know some of you, I don't know some of you. We are all across North America. It looks like a lot of you do have businesses. Maybe a lot of you are looking to launch into a new industry. I know some of you have been studying various programs. I believe we have a couple NLP practitioners in the house. Magda, not from Toronto, but definitely, yes. Thai, Sri Lankan, Japanese, and gelato. Wow, that is a good list. Okay, so fun. Let me flip over my notes and keep going. Okay, so wow. Great crew. Isn't it funny too? I think I emailed out, like we had like 27 people sign up. Why did only a third show up? But there are many more people who said they would come that aren't here that I hope will come next time, because I know you're all going to jive really, really, really well. Okay, so this is basically when it comes to topic ideas and how I'm going to approach tonight's topic, which is consistency. I learned from a mentor of mine back when I was doing network marketing about this philosophy. And this is, everybody has kind of got different words for this, but basically dividing up different tasks and different key elements to accomplishing goals into the heart piece and the mechanics piece. So when I think of things that need to get done and the way that I approach accomplishing a goal, oftentimes there is a mechanical piece that requires you to create a system, to attach a deadline or a due date, to break it down into smaller tasks. And there's very mechanical things that need to happen before that goal can be accomplished, or to make your business run smoothly, right? You need to sit down and do your invoicing once a month. You need to do reporting. You need to create strategy. But the second way I love to look at different topics and goals is through the heart piece. And yeah, you could enroll in a program that gives you exactly what you need to eat to lose weight, for example. Very mechanical, eat at 7 a.m., at noon, at 8 p.m., have 1 cup of rice. You get the point, right? Very mechanical systems. Yeah, that's great that it gives it all to you and it's laid out on a platter. But I always like to reel it back to, when it comes to your emotions and how you feel and the heart piece here, it's always important to tune into our intuition. So for anything that I'm going to talk about tonight, I may give you some systems or strategies for being more consistent in your life. But if I'm suggesting something that just doesn't really resonate with you, and when you sit down and you tune in to absorb this, it just doesn't exactly fit, then that's okay, right? Because you are the heart of your business, of your life, and of your health. And only you know best. You're your best advocate. And it's so important to sometimes tune out the noise of the world and instead reel it back into, okay, well, what am I thinking? And what's going on in this brain of mine? So I just wanted to kind of lay the foundation for that before we dive in. So tonight's topic is consistency. So we're going to start by talking about some mechanical items that are going to support you in being more consistent. Okay. And again, this topic kind of just came to me out of, I'm not really sure. It just popped into my mind as something that could really drastically improve all areas of our life if we fully understood how to show up more consistently to create the life that we want. So I think it's a really important topic, and it is something that's going to revisit us in achieving our next level of health and growth. And it's just something that I'm constantly in pursuit of mastering. So I love this quote. It's by C.S. Lewis, and he says, "It's funny how day by day nothing changes, but when you look back, everything is different." And I just think, how true is this? Because the people who have shown up consistently to accomplish a goal, they're experiencing the drastic changes that are on the other side of that. And when they look back, they go, yeah, like every day I didn't know that maybe it's working out was going to eventually lead me to feeling as strong as I do now. But the compounding effect, and when you put all that together, everything changes at a certain point. My absolute favorite book that I talk about all the time is The Slight Edge. And as soon as I read it, my perspective on being consistent really changed, because I was going through a tough time in launching my business and in really pulling together what Visionary Life was and what now is the Visionary Method, like what I did in terms of my coaching business. And sometimes it felt like I would host an Instagram video and I was speaking to nobody, or I was writing blog posts, but I had no idea who was reading them, or going to host goal setting workshops, not knowing, like, does this even translate into people working with me? But the compounding effect of doing that small thing or applying that slight edge every single day, right? Eventually it does add up to massive, massive leaps. And so I just wanted to start with that little anecdote. So in terms of consistency, one of the most incredible, story that I heard is in relation to Jerry Seinfeld. So many of you probably know Jerry Seinfeld, very famous comedian. And he was mentoring a group of, startup comedians, people who were just out of comic school or were aspiring to get into the industry. And they said, Jerry, like, how have you become so successful? I think there's like thousands and thousands of episodes of Seinfeld. And he said, you know what? It's not that I'm better than anyone else. He said, I'm no more skilled than anyone else. It's just that I never broke the chain, okay? Never broke the chain. And what he meant by that, he pulls out this massive paper calendar that covered his whole wall. And he said, when I aspired to be one of the best comics in the world and be one of the best writers of comedic content, he said, I wasn't that confident. So I made a pact with myself to just write jokes, write content every single day. And I would not let myself break the chain. And I've done that for years and years and years, and I still haven't broken it. And all that's different between me and the guy that is struggling to, get his comedic act out there is that I've put in the time, I've been more consistent, and he hasn't been. And I think this is so important because a lot of people, they get discouraged by the work that it takes to accomplish their goals, right? Whether that's getting in shape for the summer, whether that is starting to cook more at home. But if you can just break it down into a very, very micro step every single day and get your paper calendar out and just write in an X each time you do it, even if it's just the smallest amount, right? Then you're ensuring that you're building up that habit and that eventually it becomes effortless, right? Now for Jerry Seinfeld to sit down and write every day, he doesn't even have to think twice about it, right? In my own life, back when I was in university, I was just starting to get into exercising and going to the gym. And I actually was doing this without even really realizing that it was the break the chain method. But every month I would grab a piece of paper and I would draw out a 30-day calendar. And each day I would write in my movement for the day And then when the day was over, I would exit off. And I actually still, at my parents' house, I keep it because I think it's a true testament to building a habit. I still have 4 years worth of paper calendars where I wrote every single workout or walk or spin class that I did. And yeah, it might sound psychotic, but to me, now working out is a completely effortless habit because I took the time to do this method of never breaking the chain. And then it becomes second nature, and then it becomes easy. So if you're struggling with any habit in your life, I highly suggest this method because I've done it for many years. I don't do it anymore, but if I am going to adopt any new habit or leave tonight with some goals, I am going to reinstate it because I really did get re-inspired by how powerful this method can be. So I want you to maybe pull out a piece of paper or just think on these. So what, if done consistently, would up-level your life right now? So whether this is a health habit, okay? So you could think about something that, or do all three. Is there one health habit that you know would drastically improve your life if you started doing it more consistently? Maybe it's flossing. Maybe it's eating healthier. Maybe it is drinking more water. And it doesn't have to be so generic like that. It could be anything, okay? Maybe it would be scheduling a workout date with a friend, right? So you're not working out alone all the time. Number 2, is there a relationship or a social or a routine or a growth or a success strategy that if you did it more consistently, it would significantly up-level your life? So think about that. And then in terms of your business, maybe you're working on your own business right now. Is there, or your career path, right? Maybe you are looking to achieve a new job or a promotion at your current job. What could you do more consistently there to make sure that you are going to achieve your goal? So think about consistency here. So something that you could do day after day and apply that break the chain method in each of these areas or pillars, or just choose one that you really want to focus on. And what would that be? And then we'll break it down into micro steps. So choose one of those to kind of think on these next few questions for. So say for you, it is calling your friends more often and having more phone conversations. And you know, if you just gave someone a ring every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on your commutes, that would fill up kind of your social cup and make you feel like you were staying in touch with everyone. So ask yourself, where do I want to show up more consistently to see gains? Okay, so it has to be something that you're fired up to do. What would it take to be more consistent with my goal? Okay, so for me, if I'm wanting to call more friends on Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, maybe I would write down a month's worth of people that I was going to dial, right? So I've got 3 each week. I write their names down, and then perhaps I schedule them into my iPhone calendar. What has to be eliminated for this to become consistent? I think this is the single most important thing you can ask yourself in order to get real of what it's going to take to be more consistent and to implement this habit. So on that example, and it's kind of a surface level example, but what would have to be eliminated? Well, maybe listening to my audiobooks on my commute would have to go. And am I okay with that, right? What has to be eliminated is going to tell you whether you're truly wanting to commit to this thing. So apply this to whatever that goal was from the last slide. And then think about, so Danielle Laporte always talks about, like, how do you want to feel this year? Like, let's not always do, but feel. And so I want you to think, how will I feel once this becomes a consistent habit? So picture yourself, like, how does it feel to call 3 friends per week and have a 30-minute catch up with them? How are we going to feel? Really good. I'm going to feel like I am, even if you're not living in the same city with them, you're staying connected, you're staying up to date on their life rather than only talking once every 6 months, okay? And picture that feeling in your mind and how important it is So these are 2 slides that you can definitely keep in mind, come back to them every month, every week, in terms of constantly improving and growing where you're at in these 3 pillars. In business, it's so important to always be asking yourself, what do I need to be doing more consistently each day? Because we know as entrepreneurs, we need to show up to our business with consistency for people to begin to trust us, right? People associate frequency with trust. So if you just showed up once a day or wrote a blog post once a day or talked about your new certification once a day, frequency leads to trust, right? So showing up consistently is going to really help you there. Now, another good quote to keep in mind on this topic is that we become what we want to by consistently being what we want to become each day, okay? So even if you don't feel like the person who's good at calling or good at talking on the phone, you need to show up that way and become it, and become that person who everyone associates as the one who's always calling versus texting, okay? Maybe you have been wanting to show up to a new run group in your city or to a new yoga studio, but you're kind of just worried about breaking into that inner circle and you don't feel like you're necessarily as qualified to be there as everyone else who's showing up. But the thing is, the more you show up, you will start to take on that persona. You become that. And so the showing up part and the being consistent is hard, but really whatever you want to accomplish is absolutely possible. It's just about that consistency that is always sometimes the part that's lacking. I mentioned this before, that for business owners, I wanted to make sure I included this in there because frequency leads to trust, okay? So in building a business, a lot of people, where they fail is that they're very infrequent. And we know that Rome wasn't built in a day, bamboo doesn't sprout in a year. I'm sure you've heard that analogy before, that bamboo basically needs to be planted and nurtured and watered and loved on for 4 years before it finally sprouts in the fifth year. And then in the 5th year, it grows about up to 90 feet in that 5th year, okay? So if being consistent sometimes doesn't seem to lead to the results immediately, know that your tipping point is coming. Have to remind yourself that. Most people quit before it gets good, before they experience success. But keep planting seeds, keep nurturing them, because the bamboo does sprout at a certain point. It's just not always as quick as we want it to. Another tip on being consistent: state what you want in public, okay? Tell a friend. I'm a huge advocate of being more vocal about what we're accomplishing and what we want, or just putting it out there and then figuring it out later. So state what it is that you're after in order to be more consistent, okay? Tell someone that you are potentially, I lost my train of thought. My husband just ran out. Anyways, we'll go off that track. But yeah, just be vocal about it. There's no good that's done by keeping things up in our brain and keeping them inside. Tell someone, put it out there, and you're more likely to be more consistent and to accomplish what it is that you're trying to accomplish. So that's my riff on consistency. I hope some of that potentially resonated with you, or that maybe even just one nugget is landing with you right now. So I want to share a few monthly favorites in terms of consistency that are really helping me. So I had fun putting this together. And you're not going to be shocked by the first one here. If you haven't read the book, The Slight Edge, it is the book that's going to talk about being consistent and how that compounds, okay? So the compounding effect is real. Understand it. Read this book cover to cover. In terms of consistency, I was applying this to getting into my flow state. So I'm hosting a retreat in a couple weeks, and we're talking a little bit about peak performance and flow state. And I've been really able to fall into these insane trances, I will say, where I just get a lot of work done and I power things out in less time than I usually do. And so I've been listening to a consistent playlist. And this has helped me immensely to just reduce decision fatigue. I've been eating the same thing every single day. I've been going to the same gym for classes at the same time every day. So I've automated a few decisions in my mind to make them completely effortless. And a playlist, I love music, is one thing that I've been able to make consistent. Every time I open my Spotify, I listen to this playlist. I know that sounds psychotic, only when I'm doing work, not when I'm trying to have fun. But maybe it'll help you too. Perhaps not, but I would definitely love to hear your feedback if it does help you. Bye, Kylie. And then consistency and health habit. I thought, you know what? I'm just going to throw this one in there. If you're not a tongue scraper yet, it is something that I never thought I'd get into. As soon as I ordered it, though, I did it day after day. And I don't think I've missed a day in about 6 years. Ever since I got it, maybe even 8 years. And I'm just obsessed with how it makes me feel. And it has become the first thing I do every day. So that's just me giving you a few tips, tricks, and how to be more consistent with a few of those areas. Okay. And shout outs. This is going to be I want it to be a monthly part of these calls. I'm going to give people shout outs and just really support each other, cheer each other on, and recognize our little successes. So obviously this month will be the first month, so I don't have anything specific to be able to share. But I do just want to shout you all out for being part of the very first Mastermind and jam session, and for showing up for yourself for a little bit of community connection. So I'm going to open it up to kind of just some conversation and hear about what came up for you during that chat. But first, if you want to mark down our next conversation, it'll be Tuesday, May 7th. So feel free to request topics, to submit ideas, and hopefully you'll all be back. So I'm going to open it up. If anyone wants to share thoughts on the topic of consistency, you don't have to. You can absolutely stay silent. If you would like to suggest topics for our next call, you can absolutely do that as well. So I'm just going to pass it over and see if anyone just goes for it and unmutes themselves and is like ready to chit chat with us. And don't be shy. Everyone here is pretty amazing. So we'd love to hear from you.
Hey, Kelsey, I'll talk.
Yes, let's do it.
Okay, sorry, my camera, I have my camera on my computer broke, and then I have like a ghetto like plug-in camera, and that's not working either. So
you're good.
Like, this random eyeball staring at you.
Yeah, I really like the icon that's in place. All right.
Yeah, I just wanted to say like thank you so much for doing this, and like the idea of consistency I think is like such a great lesson. And I'm I wouldn't say transitioning, but like Kelsey, I was in a network marketing company with her, but now like kind of going off and doing something on its own. So starting from scratch and like starting to like build a new following, and that can feel like, oh my God, like it takes a long time, and I didn't want to stay with my old social media account because I really wanted this to be like this separate, new, fresh thing I'm doing. So yeah, I love your tips on just like consistency and just showing up and building trust. And I think that's amazing what you said.
Oh my gosh. I love hearing you say that. And I just think like the consistency in the realm of social media is such a beast too. But I remember when I started my Instagram account vividly, and I thought, I'm probably this was like 6 years ago. I thought I'm probably too late to the game because I held off a lot longer than most people did. And I thought, what's the point? Like, I don't know. And it's one of those things too, that goes back to that C.S. Lewis count. Like day by day, nothing's changing on that social media account. You're like, I got one new follower. I don't even know if anyone's reading my posts. 30 people are watching my story. But when you think about that compounding effect and where you're going to be in 5 years, and I know that you've recently gone back to school and gotten some new certifications. And I just think like the gifts you have to share soon, they are going to be in the hands of hundreds of thousands of people, but you're in that grind right now where it's the bamboo that you're nurturing. and it's going to take a long time to sprout. So yeah, I love that you kind of recognize that. And it's definitely a sore spot for us all. It's like, how do I grow on social? It can feel like a beast, but even if just 1 to 2 people are your loyal fans right now, they're going to tell 1 to 2 people next week, and then next week 1 to 2. And you don't need a massive audience. You need a core group of 40 people who are going to cheer you on and be your advocates for the rest of your life. So go for those 40 people. And
actually, just to like, if anyone's in this space, to give you like a little bit of like a win or inspiration. So I launched a like meditation and mindfulness course for entrepreneurs. And about 3 weeks ago, I was like, know what, I'm just going to put it out there that like I'm going to be doing this, and like here's a wait list, you know what I mean? And I had a girl reach out to me and be like, hey, I must have searched mindset coach in the moment you posted your thing. I found your account, like I felt so drawn to you. So we set up a call, and today we had a call for like this mini course I'm doing. Like it's not expensive, it's just like very introductory, right? And on our call, I could tell she wanted like one-on-one coaching, and I ended up like closing my first like one-on-one coaching. You know what I mean? I'm just like, I have such a small following, but it was like one post that came out at the exact moment. She felt drawn to me, and this turned into like my first one-on-one coaching client, which is like incredible. So I feel like even when we're in this like small growth phase, as long as you're showing up like consistently and authentically, you're going to connect with the people that are meant to connect with you.
It's so true. Yeah, there's so much, people are looking for the perfect formula, and I love a plan, a good plan, and a good strategy, but I also think that there's just so much power in just showing up as like what feels right for you right now. And if that's not posting for 5 days and then throwing up that post, yes, the person who's meant to see it is going to be magnetic to it. That's a really good testimony. And congrats on getting your first client. That's incredible.
Thank you. I appreciate
it. And a lot of other people are celebrating you.
That's so nice. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, that's a huge milestone. So celebrate yourself, because if you can get one client, you can get hundreds of. One person is paying you for your services. So if any of you have businesses and you've gotten that first client, you can get clients for the rest of your life. Just think, what did I do to get that person? And someone once told me, if you can make money by yourself, like if you can start a business or like launch a cookie stand out front of your house, if you can make money once, you can make money for the rest of your life. Never have an issue. So once you get that first sale, that's yours. It's not through your company. It's, you know, you sell maybe an ebook, you sell whatever it is, you will be fine forever. Take what you learned from that one sale and keep applying it to the next sale. So whatever it was that you did to get that first, repeat, consistent, like, of course you can get hundreds more.
Yeah. And I wasn't even expecting it. I literally had to make up a price on the spot.
Yeah.
Okay. This is what I charge.
Yeah. And the other thing that I always talk about in my programs is that you don't need more time to perfect your business. You just need to decide. Yeah. And I have a bunch of clients in the visionary method right now. I don't know if any of them are on. But a lot of them were getting hung up in, well, I want to do this business, or I'm really good at being organized, but then maybe I want to launch a food plan. I'm like, you don't need any more time. You've been thinking about this for 70 years. Like, just decide on which one you're going to move forward through, fail, or do really well at it, and then learn what the next step is. And so, yeah, sometimes you don't need time to come up with the pricing. You just need to decide, put it out there. If it's too high, too low, you'll learn after this first client. So pretty cool. Awesome. Does anyone else want to share a thought? Anything that's on your mind? You're all so inspiring and awesome humans. So
I just wanted to say thanks for the authenticity and saying, you know, talking about how it can feel kind of lonely. I think that's something that has, you know, been on my mind for a few months, because I mean, I have a day job, I have a social life, I have all that, but it's just not quite the same, right? Like people at work, they don't get it. You know, even friends, I have one friend who ever actually asks me how things are going. Otherwise, people kind of just seem to like avoid the topic. And, you know, it's not that anyone, you know, is ill-intentioned. It's just, I think that people maybe just don't quite get it, or they think they know what goes into it, but they really, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, I really, really appreciated that authenticity and just saying, you know what, it can feel lonely. So it really, that really resonated a lot with me. And I figure, you know, if that resonates with me, I'm sure it probably resonates with all of us. So, so also thank you for creating this. Like, I was so excited when I saw your invite. I thought this is just such an amazing idea, where a group of like-minded people can just come together, shared experiences, learn together, grow together, connect. I really appreciate it. So thank you.
Well, I thank you for showing up. Like, that is super meaningful and important to have everybody, come on and be part of this. So, and on that loneliness topic too, I think like no matter whether you're a business owner and experiencing like isolation as an entrepreneur, or you're just like, when I started putting myself out there as like living a visionary life, like, you know, just because it felt good in my soul and I wanted to share with more people, like nobody asked me about it. The people closest to me are like, they will not bring it up around me. Like when I go to family gatherings, people avoid asking me how my business is because I can't just say, oh, like it's, you know, typical like everyone else's. So yeah, I totally get that feeling, and it's weird, but maybe it's me needing to open up more. But it is nice to be amongst a tribe of people where we can all just kind of riff. And
I do kind of wonder though, like, why does anyone know why people don't ask? Like, you know, you ask about who people's jobs are, like, hey, how's life? Why do they avoid? I don't understand.
I wonder if it's just because they're worried it's not, like, it's easy to ask how someone's job's going, but if someone's running their own business, it's a really vulnerable thing to do, I feel like.
Yes.
And I wonder if people are like, but what if it's going poorly? Like, do I actually want the answer? Like if someone says,
they don't,
God, it's awful, I'm having such a hard time, like, and maybe they just don't want to know.
Yeah. I also think sometimes like it makes people uncomfortable to see you like stretching in this way, and it's like they almost like have that triggering element of like, what is she, you know what I mean? Like someone who isn't an entrepreneur doesn't always get it, and I think sometimes they just like, I don't know, that's just my experience. Like sometimes I feel like they just would rather pretend it's not happening.
That's really fair.
I love what Rebecca just said. She said, I think people have a hard time relating to things, don't fit in a certain box.
Yes.
Oof. Yes.
Yes.
And luckily, like hopefully this is evolving and the conversation is changing, but it's true. Most people still like, they do only understand things that have clear definitions and that look normal.
One of the things that I took from tonight was just like what you were talking about at the end about the decision fatigue. And part of what I find so attractive about working for myself and what I love so much is the fact that I can have every day look different, and that if for whatever reason I don't want to start working until 10, or I want to work until 9 or 10 o'clock at night, it doesn't impact anyone else. It's just what feels right for me. But I'm definitely getting stuck in having like good productive days and poor productive days. And I think it has to do with some of that. Like I can wake up in the morning and be like, do I want to work at home? Do I want to go to my co-working space? Do I want to go to a coffee shop? Like which project am I going to work on? And I think that I've had too much like variance, and that I probably need to do a couple of those things. Like have a Monday to Friday out, like on Mondays I wear this, on Tuesdays I wear this, like eat the same thing, go to the same place at the same time. So I actually think I'm going to try that next week and like have it all settled, and hope that gets me into a better place sooner, because I'm not thinking about, oh, what music do I want to listen to now? Or, you know, did I plan enough snacks? Like all that stuff that's so easy to railroad you when you're doing work that is like challenging. Like I actually find so much of what I do now is hard.
Yeah.
In a way, like it's
mental energy.
Yeah. So I think I'm definitely gonna do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, automate, make it effortless, or anything that you can, simplify so that there's no choice involved. And I totally resonate with what you said about like needing mental energy for some harder projects. So I think the more simple and consistent we can be with some of those smaller elements, it actually can compound into a huge difference in the energy you're able to pour into whatever it is that you're working on. So cool. All right. Well, I want to respect everyone's time, so I am going to wrap it up here. I think that I'll send out an email about a week before our next one. And I want to think of a few ways that I can foster connection amongst us. I think this was great that people were piping up. But if you have any other ideas for how we can get to know each other in the interim, I think it'll be really important for us to kind of learn, like, what are we working on? What's your passions? Like, where you live and what your business is. So there are some elements I'd like to hash out if some people are going to show up consistently. So yeah, we'll think on that. Otherwise, we will connect on the first Tuesday of every month. So I'll see you next month. I forget the date already, and I had written it down. It is the 7th. Okay, so yeah, May 7th. And thank you all again for showing up. Hope you got something valuable from this. And apologies if it was scattered, but hey, we're just getting to know each other, and can't always plan these things. So cool. Okay, thanks everyone. Have an amazing Tuesday. Bye.